Welcome to Science Store online classes.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Welcome students once again to the physics class. So we have already discussing about first chapter, motion in a straight line. Okay, the object which are moving from one point to another point, and we had discussed some of the topics, the key terms of physics. And namely we have written here, okay, kinematics, dynamics and statics, and in the previous videos I have given a definitions of what is kinematics, dynamics and statics, that is the branches of physics. Okay, so one is which deals with the motion of the object without considering the cause of motion. This one deals with the motion of the object by considering the cause of motion. This one object which is at rest, that we have to study. Now mechanics we have divided, and these are all things we have done, right? So basically we are studying the motion of the object. Now if I ask you how you will define the motion of the object, we already discussed, that is nothing but change in position of the object with respect to surrounding, or change in the position of the object with respect to time, because whatever the activities you do, whatever the things you do, time is independent on you, right? Time is independent variable. So time is constantly varies and does it works. Time is constantly varies and does it work. Okay, that's why that is an invariable quantity which cannot be changed. Time always is runs. You eat, you sleep, you do your activities or not, whatever it may be. You speak or not, whatever it may be, time is does work. No, that is a physical quantity, we will say. Such a way different physical quantities are there. The quantities, maybe in the last classes we told, that is force is a physical quantity, your weight is a physical quantity, mass is a physical quantity, velocity is a physical quantity, like the different physical quantities are there. Okay, so similarly what we were talking about is, there is nothing but a time is a physical quantity which is does not changes or does not depends on anyone, that's why it is constantly changing. So with respect to that we are writing all the things. So with respect to time the position is changed, that's why we are writing what it is, the change in the position of the object with respect to time, and also with respect to surrounding. Now imagine I have put you in a cage or in a box in such a way that you can't see outside. Okay, you can't see outside. You are moving and I am going to take you from Mangalore to Bangalore. Okay, and after that I will open the box. Now can you make out from which city to which city you have moved? No, you can't make out, but you can make out by looking at the surrounding that yes, your position, your surrounding is changed from one point to another point, right? Your surrounding is changed. That is what? The change in the position of the object with respect to surrounding, and also it consumes time, it requires time. You have to move from one place to another place, means you have to spend time sometimes, no? So that time, with respect to time we are talking about, that is motion of the object with respect to surrounding and time. Okay, we were dealing about that is nothing but kinematics, dynamics and statics. So for that again we are going to give some key terms in physics, some key terms, okay, or some physical terms I will call. Okay, the first thing you know that rest means what? Rest means if there is no change in position of the object, okay, no change in position of object with time. There is no change in position of the object with the time. This board in the classroom, it always remains here itself, it won't changes, no, its position, that is with respect to time, that is at rest, it does not going to change its position with respect to surrounding. With respect to surrounding, classes, and with respect to the time it does not going to change its position, that is object is at rest. Okay, object is motion means we have already written, and now all the things we are going to write down it as object, and generally we will write down it as point object. What is that point object means? Now in physics we will talk about cars also, we will talk about trucks also, and we will talk about trains also. The length of these objects, if you consider, means it is large only, large length. Okay, but what this car can move 500 kilometers a day, this truck can move more than 500, like that, even train can move 600 kilometers or more than that. Okay, but if you consider the length of the object is less than that of the distance travelled, the length of the object is less than that of the distance travelled, such kind of objects we will call it is point object. What is that? The distance travelled is less than size of the object. That's why in physics all the bodies, it may be a car, it may be a train, it may be a truck, whatever it may be, we are going to consider it as a point object. Okay, we are going to consider it as a point object. Now some physical terms we are going to give. Okay, physical terms. I hope you are writing this. Okay, if you have not written, just again play the video and you can write down in a book. Write down the points whatever I am going to write down in a board, that you write down. Okay, after that you may get some assignments so that you have to submit it later. So this is what we were doing. Now these are all things we have to study. In the beginning what we have studied? We have studied that any of the things we are going to express in physics means we need mathematics, mathematical steps we want, right? So here also I will again tell you that physical terms we are going to give. As I said, rest, as I said, motion of the object, as I said, velocity, as I said, point object, these are all physical terms. So in this chapter, before starting everything, we will talk about physical terms. Now the first thing comes that I said, you are moving from Mangalore to Bangalore. Okay, so some distance you are going to travel, that distance we will call it as path length. Okay, the first physical terms we are going to get. Path length is nothing but the total distance travelled by the body. The total distance traversed by the body is called path length. Now path length means how I have to say, the path length means how I have to discuss. For that we have to talk about, we have to tell about any point I have to say, right? Any point I have to tell. That point we will call it as reference point. See, I told that here you have moved to Bangalore city, of course, but with respect to what? If you consider your initial point, that was your reference point. With referring to this point, you have moved from one point to another point. So always we will be having a reference point. Always we will be having a reference point. That reference point is nothing but a fixed point. Okay, with respect to which the position of the object are defined. Okay, it is a fixed point. Now these are all we have to define. Now again I will give you a scenario in such a that you are in a multi-story building. We will come to this path length again later little bit. Okay, we will consider a scenario in this way. This is a multi-story building. Okay, so the first floor or the first floor, the second floor, and the third floor, and the fourth floor in this way. Now this is a way for you. You have to move it. You have to move from year to year. Now you are going into the lift, no? You have to go to the fifth floor, means directly the lift goes. Okay. Now you have to go to this corner, means you are not going in a lift, you are walking and you are moving in this way. Now there are 4 corners are there, no, in this way. Okay. Now you were here. Okay. From here to here you have to move. Here to 5th floor you have to move, or else here to this corner you have to move. If I consider such things, you are moving in x axis, you are moving in y axis, and you are moving in z axis. I can say you are moving in x axis to the adjacent corner, you are moving in y axis, and you are moving in z axis, that is mutually perpendicular. Motion in a straight line topic talks about only motion of the object in a single axis. Okay. You have generally rectangular coordinates in mathematics, no? In mathematics you have rectangular coordinates, that is nothing but mutually perpendicular to each other, x and y and z. But when physics is considered, we will call about that rectangular coordinates as frame of reference. Okay. Frame of reference means with respect to this frame of reference you are defining the position and motion of the object. With respect to that frame of reference you are defining the position and motion of the object. Suppose this is the point, your initial point Mangalore, and you are moving straight to the Bangalore at this point. Means which was your initial point? This was the initial point and reference point. With respect to this you are moving. You are moving in a x axis like that. Okay. So that is together we will call as a frame of reference. Frame of reference. So what is that frame of reference? Frame of reference is nothing but rectangular coordinates. Frame of reference nothing but rectangular coordinates with respect to which velocity, position and the time of velocity, position and acceleration of the object is determined. That is, it is nothing but these are the rectangular coordinate. Frame of reference is nothing but it is the rectangular coordinate with respect to which position, velocity and acceleration of the objects is determined. Okay, like that. These are the frame of reference. So in physics, that rectangular coordinates we are going to bring as a frame of reference. So now what are all the points we have studied? That is nothing but point object, that is rest, that is frame of reference, in that way. Now we are talking about path length again. Okay. So we were stopped actually that discussion, so that we had to discuss this mathematical term. Now what is path length? Path length is, I will erase this. Path length is nothing but the total distance travelled by the object. Path length is nothing but the total distance travelled by the object. No. Path length is nothing but the total distance travelled by the object from one point to another point. Now since it is motion in a straight line, we are taking only x axis. Okay. X axis means what? Here negative axis is there, here positive axis is there, no? Okay. Now suppose you are at here. Okay, 0th point. It is 10 meters. it is 20 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters, 50 meters, and so on. I will give this point as name A. I will this point as name B. This point as C, D, and E. Now what the definition tells? Path length means it is nothing but the total distance travelled by the object. Path length means nothing but the total distance travelled by the object. Now object is at a position O. Person is moving from one point to here. This is the first scenario. In the first scenario, what is the total distance? 10, 20, 30. 30 meter is the path length. Now the next scenario, what happens? This person is moves here till 20. Okay, that is second scenario. In second scenario, what is the path length? That is 20 meter, because it is the total distance. Now what happens? In a third scenario, this person goes here to the market. Okay, from home is going to the market. It takes some vegetables, all those things, and comes back here. That is the third scenario. What would be the path length? Total distance travelled by the object. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means 50 meters. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So in the third scenario is moving 100 meters in that way. Means it is the total length. Now again I can go in this way also. No, here also 10 is there, 20 is there, 30 is there, 40 is there, 50 is there. In path length what we will consider is nothing with respect, without considering any sign, we will consider it is total distance. That is a path length. Okay, now this is what the topic, this is what the technical term or physical term we brought to find out the position of the object. So I can say that the total distance for the Mangalore to Bangalore 600 kilometers or 400 kilometers I can say. Okay, that is the total path length. But if I tell you the path length, okay, if I tell you the path length, say for example, the same scenario I am going to give you. This is the object, this is 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters. Here also 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters. Okay. Now I will tell you path length is 20 meters. Okay. From its initial position. Listen carefully. Path length is 20 meter from its initial position. Now you have to find out where that object is. Okay. Path length means what? It is the total distance. The object, it is 20 meter. Now object may be here. That is 1. Is it only there? No, it is also possible that object will go here and come back here. Here it is also possible. No, and also it is possible that you go here at this point and come back here. This is also possible. So you can't tell that exactly where that, if I say path length is 20 meter, this person may be possibility is here, it may be possibility here, it may be possibility here. Don't think that it is negative. Like though it is in that direction, path length means we are not going to consider any direction. Path length means it is the total distance. Path length means it is the total distance. Okay. So here also it is possible. Here also it is possible. 10, 20. No, 10, 20 here also. So multiple positions are possible. If I say path length, means what is the disadvantage of path length? By knowing the path length, exact position you can't make out. By knowing the path length, exact position you can't make out in this. So now that is a disadvantage I can say. No, that's why we will bring a new term that is called displacement. That is called displacement. Now you will understand that why displacement we brought. Okay, because path length was not helping us to find out the exact position of the object. Exact position of the object. Now what do you mean by displacement? The displacement is nothing but It is the shortest distance between the initial and final points. It is the shortest distance between the initial and final points. That is nothing but displacement, or else it is the difference between the initial and final points. Okay, it is the difference between the initial and final point. Okay, or else it is the change in the position of the object in particular direction. It is change in the position of the object in particular direction. Okay. Change in the position of the object in particular direction. Now we can write down displacement is nothing but delta x is equal to final minus initial. Okay, final minus initial, that is nothing but displacement is nothing but final minus initial. Now let us see first second scenarios I will tell. So this is initial point. Now initially where it was, I will write down A, B, C, D. Okay, E, F, G, H. Okay, like this I am going to write down. Like this I am going to write down. Now what we will write down? Displacement we are going to write down. Displacement is nothing but difference between final and initial point. Now what we have to do? We have to consider the directions also. We have to consider the directions also. That is displacement, so that we can tell exactly the position. Now first scenario, the object is here. The person is moving from O to A. That is first scenario. O to A. O to A means 10 minus 0. That is 10 meters. Okay, that is displacement. Next second scenario is this person is moving here from initial point 0. Then what is from O to C is moving. O to C is moving. That is 30 minus 0. That is 30 meters. Okay. Now suppose the third scenario I am going to give. The object is 0. He will move to D and come to B. That is from O to D is moving and D to B is moving. So which is the final point now? Final point is B, that is 20. Which is the initial point? That is 0. Means it is 20 meter. Here can also move in the negative way also. Say for example O to F is moving. Fourth case, that is O to F is moving. O to F is moving means what is final point? That is minus 20. What is initial point? Okay, minus 0, which is equal to minus 20 meter. What is the meaning of minus 20 meter? These are all plus, plus, plus. This is minus. Minus means in the another direction it has moved. Okay, now I can write down. Next, fifth case I am going to write down from O to F is moving. O to, okay, H is moving. Okay, H to G is moving. Now which is final point? G means minus 30 is the final point. Which was the initial point? Initial point is nothing but 0. Now minus 30 meter. Okay, these are the cases. That is nothing but position of the object. My final to initial. So different way displacement we can say. Displacement is nothing but change in the position of the object in particular direction, or it is the difference in the initial and final position, or it is the shortest distance between the initial and final position, like that. Now I told that path length if I give means you can't determine the exact position. Path length if I give means you can't determine the exact position. Now I give you displacement. Can you determine the exact position? Yes. 10 meters. 10 meters means plus 10 meters it is. Plus 10 meters means it must be the right side of this. Okay, right side. If I face it to it, right side of that. Okay, 10 meters means. So you can say that. I will tell you 20 meter is the displacement. Okay. Displacement is 20 meter. Where is the position of the object? Now position is where that object is. Plus 20 means it must be in the right side of that okay, and it is here, it must be at the point of B. If I say minus 30 meter, minus 30 means it is minus means it is the left side. If I face to the axis means left side, okay, left side where? In the 30th position, at the position of G, like that. So if I give any displacement, you can tell that whether it is positive x-axis direction or whether it is negative x-axis direction, or else it is right side to the path, or right side to the initial point, or is it to the left side to the initial point, we can say. No, that is the advantage of displacement. From that we can find out where is the exact position of the object, where is the exact position of the object. Why we are all this we are doing? Because we are interested to study the motion of the object, we are interested to find out the exact position of the object, we want to know about the motion of the object. That's why we are bringing all those mathematical, some of the mathematical steps to in this, so that we can make out, so that we can find out the displacement, so that we can find out the displacements, okay, like that. This is about path length and displacement of the objects.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.